Hello, my loves. Dr. Holly here. So many of my patients and other folks have reached out to me to talk about how they're super excited that the pandemic is starting to slow down and things are reopening, but they're also anxious and they're not really sure what to do with that. So I want to talk about what's going on in our bodies while we're anxious, how we can reframe that, and the tools that are available to us using integrative psychiatry. Hello, welcome. Dr. Holly here. So, as I said, so many of us are really excited about everything starting to reopen, but we may also notice some anxiety coming up. And sometimes we can point to an actual reason, other times we're not so sure. So, I wanted to talk about what actually is going on in our bodies when this is happening. So with anxiety, we start noticing like our heart rate is starting to increase. We might have that kind of flutter in our chest. We might notice that we're having a hard time breathing, like our breathing is starting to increase. In our body, we're actually like starting to have more glucose in the blood to get us ready to address something that's coming up. And what it is it's actually our body preparing for change or preparing for something that's coming up that we need to be at our best for. It might feel like something super scary, and that's because it's the same biological process that happens in that fight or flight, which is when we would be preparing back in the day for a saber-toothed tiger, or these days maybe an alligator come up from all these flooded areas around our streets. That's when you need it to actually fight or flight. But when it's happening in anxiety, oftentimes it's really just to be prepared. So when I am about to go on and talk to you fabulous people on live and think about what I want to talk about, I might notice those same things happening in my body. And, if I let my mind go down the rabbit hole of, oh my God, I'm super anxious, I'm going to blow this, like I can't even get a word out, like what's going on, that's going to kind of take me down the spiraling of anxiety. But if I allow myself to take a breath, take a moment, use some in the moment mindfulness grounding techniques that we talk about in integrative psych, then I can make a choice to kind of flip the script on anxiety a little bit and instead view what's happening in my body as my body preparing for me to be amazing and fabulous and to do my best job and best work for all of you. So, that does take some work. It's not something that you can just like flip a script overnight. You do need to build some tools. So let's talk about a little bit about like what those tools may be. So some of the things that we love doing in integrative psychiatry is called mind-body medicine. And these are things that we can actually do just using our mind and our body to help change what's happening internally for us, whether it be that anxiety or our diabetes or blood pressure or heart disease or what have you. All these things are affected by these tools. One such tool is mindfulness. I love talking about mindfulness, being in the moment, practicing being in the moment, non-judgmentally, and just allowing yourself to observe what's there in front of you, whatever you decide to focus on. It doesn't have to be your breath. It can be a song. It can be movement, whatever it may be. Along those lines is also prayer. A lot of folks find prayer to be quite comforting when it comes to anxiety. That's something that I've used myself, and I know a number of my patients resonate with that. Whatever type of prayer it may be. It doesn't matter what type of practice. It doesn't matter if you're even practicing anything. But the same thing happens in your body biologically as what happens when we do mindfulness. You go into what we call the relaxation state. So your body is able to slow down, focus more on digestion and being in the moment and less on that saber-toothed tiger that doesn't actually exist. So those are great tools. Something else that folks use is things like activities like dance or exercise. All those things help your brain get back into a state, again, where it can heal and anxiety can kind of get worked off. If you're really one of those anxious people that needs to pace a lot, and then exercise is super good and great for you. There's also mindful movement like Tai Chi and yoga. There's arts. things like art therapy, music therapy. Even if you're not formally doing therapy, you can do art journaling, which is super great for anxiety and also super fun, and something you can do with the kids as well. Another thing is looking at your diet. A lot of the things that we're eating these days are what we call pro-inflammatory, which means that when your body sees them in your gut, it looks at it like, dude, this doesn't belong here, because oftentimes it's made of chemicals that really don't belong there, and cause a reaction that sometimes can even cause a reaction that leads to things like inflammation and autoimmunity and problems down the line that maybe we don't even realize it's what we're putting in our body to lead to these things. Now, it's way more complicated than that, but this is a pretty short video, so I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of that. Ins and outs. Anyway, sorry, I was being punny. So looking at our diet, looking at things like eating more of that Louisiana seafood, more nuts and berries, more vegetables, tasting the rainbow, that's going to help make our gut healthier. They've actually looked at some probiotics which help our anxiety improve. So that just is more fuel to the fire that what we're putting in our body is affecting our brain. There's neurotransmitters along our gut that are also in our brain. So there's really such a connection that we're still learning about, but it's good to take advantage of by looking at that diet. Lastly, folks come to me oftentimes because I'm an integrative psychiatrist, because I'm super comfortable and educated in using supplements in a way that is evidence-based and not just kind of pulling them off the shelves because I saw something on QVC that's saying this is going to work, because those aren't necessarily the ones that are at the levels that the studies show are going to work. They may advertise that X substance has been used for anxiety, but is the substance the type of plant, the part of the plant, the level that has been used in studies to show that? That is when you need someone who's educated in supplements to look at those things for you. And also make sure what you're taking isn't going to interact with what you're taking medication-wise or what you have going on health-wise. Because a lot of times these things, we talk about, oh, it's all natural. That doesn't mean it comes with no risks. There's still things that it may be interacting with, whether it be, again, medications or illnesses or things that are happening. And oftentimes you can use a supplement that will help with your anxiety and help with your polycystic ovaries or your prediabetes or a number of things. And it's best to get some help to do those things. So if you are interested in finding out more about this and maybe exploring your options individually, please reach out to me. You can get a discovery call by looking at darawellnessnola.com. For more information about anxiety and other things, follow me on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever you're finding me here. And keep talking to me. Reach out to me. Let me know what other topics you'd like me to talk about or cover, and I will address. And I'm sending you lots of love, and take care and take a few deep breaths and enjoy your day. All right. Love you guys. Bye.